Do you see any trends emerging in the space?
Yes.
Which
Um,
ones?
end customers and device manufacturers are increasingly expecting their semiconductor manufacturers, so chip manufacturers, the very beginning of the whole value chain for creating a device, right,
Mhm.
is the chips. That's where the fundamental building blocks start. They're placing expectations on them to solve
Mhm.
the security problem.
On the
Uh,
chip manufacturers.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the chip manufacturers are perfectly capable of doing that, except their business model has always been create the chip, get it out the door in as high a volume as you possibly can, make your money, then move on to the next product, and
Mm.
not offer services or ongoing security or key management or anything on top of those
Mhm.
solutions. So our objective this year has been to partner with chipset manufacturers to give them everything that they need to embed a security, what we call a secure enclave or secure IP within their chip that we can then take over and manage for the customer going forward. We can use
Mhm.
that as the solid foundation for establishing unique identity, managing that identity over time, rotating the keys, managing the keys, and then using all of that for data encryption, authentication, firmware over the air downloads, secure in-field provisioning, all of these services built on top of that secure foundation.
Mhm.
Um, and that's proving to get a lot of traction, where we can now partner with the chipset manufacturers who do what they do best, which is to create, you know, insane, ever shrinking, amazing sets of functionality that enable all these toys that we love to play with in our lives. Um, but have us take over the security lifecycle management part on behalf of the end customer who's using that.
Mm. Yeah, so it almost sounds like there's a shift happening in the perception of people using devices away from a shift in responsibility. It's not just the producer's fault or the customer's responsibility in order to keep devices safe. It's also the chip manufacturers.
Well, if you look at it in the pay TV space, it would have been easy for a set-top box manufacturer to say, I'm going to do my own security, and I'm going to offer
Mm-hmm.
that to all the pay TV operators. And indeed, some of them tried that, and sort of failed. And that's why having a security expert and a specialist in the ecosystem who looks at the whole topic of security lifecycle management and all the features and functionalities that you can build on top of that is really critical, to have that abstracted away from not specific to this chip, not specific to this device, but rather a layer above all of that, that can manage maybe many different chips and many different devices using one system.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, what was true in the pay TV world 30 years ago remains absolutely true in the IoT world today. And that's having a dedicated security partner and expert and provider, um, really is critical to the success of the entire ecosystem.